Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to start the motor assembly. The first thing I am going to do though is hone the cylinders. This will actually be my first time doing this. Um, the only thing I think it's going to bite me in the butt is I didn't do the rings. I should have bought them, but I didn't. But whatever. The rings do look good. Um, I did pull some off camera. For each cylinder, I put the rings back inside the cylinder through multiple areas just to ensure that there's no open spots, that the cylinders didn't need to be bored out because of, egging, ovaling, what have you. But in this case, it's not, so I'm just going to freshen the cylinders up, get some good cross hatches going. Once that's done, clean the cylinders really, really, really good. And then we can start reassembling the motor. The engine I ended up painting orange. Orange is what the car was. More of a tangerine pearl for the car itself, but this is the Hemi orange, and I think it came out good. Other side looks really, really good. I spent a lot of time getting through all the nooks and crannies. I should have taped these holes off, but I didn't. I just stuck some of the bolts back in after I got the Q-tips out and got the wet paint out. So regardlessly, they're still cleaned up, except for these two ports right there. At this point in time, I'm really not waiting for any parts. Other than my air intake, I'm pretty sure everything else came. I got the flex pipe piece for my exhaust that broke. Those came in. My gaskets came in. I got new crank bearings because one ended up being dropped. And then, and I'm kind of leery about it, but I've read the reviews. I ordered them from Modern Performance. They're the King's bearings. What else is there? Crank positioning sensor, it's here. Let's get to it. Didn't turn out too bad. This one I already started wiping, getting it cleaned up. I might go over that one more time. I might not have been going up and down quick enough. That one turned out really good. Got a lot of the cleaning done. I did go over these two cylinders one more time, and it don't look too bad. For whatever reason, the camera makes it look like it's all in one spot, but it's not. Like there's plenty of crosshatch here. Maybe if I do it from a different angle, maybe you can see it. No. Oh well, I'm gonna send it. With the dart tool, I used a couple of the brushes to get the head cleaned up after I took a utility blade and tried to make sure everything was scraped off. And then I took the regular, here I'll just pull it out. We used this finer brush to get the rest of the stuff off, and then here on the drill, went ahead and went through all these holes and got them cleaned out, sprayed them down with a bunch of brake cleaner, and used my air compressor and blew everything out. So now we're going to go ahead and flip the motor, get everything underneath there cleaned up one more time, and we'll start reassembling. Okay, so now the motor has been flipped over. At this point in time, I had some other projects going on that needed to be taken care of, and one vehicle needed fixed, which the video is already uploaded. But anyways, we're going to go back to the bottom of this engine. Most of it is wiped out. I have a little bit here to finish up. I can easily just finish that up off camera, get any of this extra paint. I'm going to take a blade and scrape down on the bottom here to make sure the old gasket is off. And then we're going to start getting ready to do the counterbalance shafts. I know it's easy, but my issue is I don't have the crankshaft puller. So I wasn't able to do that, so I could tear the rest of this apart. That's why the crank never came out, and that's why I try to keep everything covered the best I could. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get these cleaned up, get my little tool cart, get it brought over here that can hold some tools, anything I'm going to need. I'm going to get my assembly lube, get that out, get that ready to go. I have my gasket set, it's already here, so we can start doing that part, get the motor assembled. And I even got extra gasket maker because I know some parts I'm going to need to make my own for, that I'm not 100% sure if it came with the other ones, and I couldn't find them anywhere else, so I'll have to make my own, which is fine. But I'm going to get back to this, get this cleaned up, and we'll start reassembling. While I'm cleaning this, I'm going to start getting the heads of my pistons soaking. Get all the carbon and stuff cleaned off of those. Try to get them as shiny as possible. I don't know how well that's going to do. I soaked it in some gas right now. That'll help get it off, and I'm going to use engine degreaser and a toothbrush just to get the rest of it off. And then I'll wash the pistons and get them dried and then lubricated as soon as possible. So while those soak, I'm going to continue. So far, I'll show you. I got the gasket off. I used a blade just to scrape the rest of it off. Here's a chunk that kind of stuck. And then I've just been coming through here and just keep wiping everything with my shop paper towels. But the next step's going to be get ready to put the pistons in. I have the pistons in order still, so I know what cylinder went where. Yeah, don't look too bad from here on the bottom. Before I do put the pistons in, though, I am going to give it one more wipe out. But I'm going to finish getting this all wiped up and get cylinder 1 cleaned and do piston number 1. First piston's cleaned up, washed, scrubbed as best that I could. And then I brake cleaned it to make sure all the shit's off. Now I'm going to get some motor oil on it and get it all lubricated and brought back inside. So I put a picture of my crosshatches on Instagram just to get a others' opinions. I know it looks like they're deep, but I can't feel them. But these are already oiled. Here's a better view of piston number 1. It's all nice and oiled. Rings all, oh, I shouldn't have done that. We'll reset that. And then, yeah, perfect, good. They're all away from each other. But as I clean each one up, I'm going to go ahead and start getting them in. I don't really want to put them back in. I don't really know if there's much of a use. I looked on the forums. I've asked on, some of the pages. Some people say, yep, just leave them out. They don't do nothing. Some people say it adds your torque. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm just going to continue. Piston number 2 is just about done. 3 and 4, they've all been soaking. I'm just continuing brushing them using between a toothbrush and my soft bristle brush I can attach to my drill. I'm really worried if I would even use wired brush or even like a wire wheel, a soft one, something like this. I don't want to cut nothing or just make a mess. I don't want to do anything at all like that, so I'm just going to get them to the best of my ability. I mean, they already look better than whenever it came out, so any cleaner is an improvement for them. And I'm also just double checking, making sure none of the rings are stuck, make sure everything's clean, make sure there's no chips, just because I'm not putting new rings in. And I really, really, really want to. I can't do it with my budget right now, so I guess just continue. The assembly lube that I'm going to use is this Ultra Slick. And then as well, I got new crank bearings. I ordered these from Modern Performance. The only thing I don't like about them, but I've read reviews. I called Modern Performance and actually talked to the guy. He says he sells a bunch of these. Even on the Facebook pages and some of the forums for the turboed 2.4s, other people have used them and never had a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'll just use a little bit of extra assembly lube just to be safe until there's plenty of oil and everything. That's just my only worry, is that there's not a hole. So I actually have missed footage, so I'm just going to go over it. Apparently I took a picture, not a video. So just real quick, I used my Ultra Slick assembly lube at the bottom of the connecting rod, or in this case it would be the top. I placed my bearing, and then I also as well coated it with more assembly lube. Now I'm going to go grab the cap and get ready to install another bearing into it, so I can go ahead and put piston number 1 into cylinder number 1. So on the end cap, I already have it lubricated, and here's my bearing. On the cap itself, see if it'll focus. And it's kind of packed, you can't see, but here is little grooves that your bearing slides into. It helps as well keep everything aligned, and for me, whenever I did the piston, or at the bottom of the connecting rod, it made it a lot more easier for me. Perfect alignment. Wow. Sorry about that. That was like really, really good. That went really easy. Let's see if I can get a good enough angle for you to see. Matthew's in the background, so he might be a little noisy. I'm also going to go ahead and put some assembly lube on the other part of the crank, the top surface, or the side that'll meet the crank. I'm going to put just a little bit more. This stuff is like really thick and stringy, kind of like thinner axle grease. Sure that's all good and lubed, and get ready to slide my piston in. As a reference, I took extra pictures whenever I took the head off, just to ensure that when I put the pistons back in, I put them in correctly. The way you were seeing it, here's the front of the block. This would be on the driver's side, and then there's the back, obviously. And then if I would have it so it was facing up and down as if it was in the car, down here is where the alternator is, and that's where the short side of the piston was on. It was on the piston side, or alternator side. Also, as a quick reference, on the piston it does say front. So the way we were looking at it, let me spin this back, it was sitting in the block just like this. So front to front, and then there's nothing on the other side. We're just gonna let that soak. That one's just about ready to get a good brushing and wash it off. So in order for me to install this piston, I have a piston collapser. It'll collapse the piston rings, that way it'll go into the bore. To install, I'm just going to use my ball peen hammer. I cleaned the head up real good, try to get as much dirt and stuff off of it as I could. And all you're going to do is carefully tap it in. I also made sure to put plenty of oil in the cylinder, and I also did it again to the piston rings to help it slide in. I'm going to come down here, and I need to get the crank set for it to slide in. I got to hold this timing chain. And I need to... Okay, so now we're going to get ready to tap the piston in. Now it's straight. I set that hammer, yeah, I put it right here. So I'm going to give it some taps. Make sure, double check to make sure that it's closed the whole way. But it should be. Yeah, there's no more coming out of that. Reset the piston in there again. We're good and tight and straight on the cylinder. And let's slowly tap this on. We're getting ready to, and then get a bolt on. I'm going to turn the crank while pushing down on the piston. Oh no. Perfect. Back on. Slow. Everything's good in there. And now, double check, make sure this is flush. And it is. Also, on these, I just noticed there's a cut mark, so you can't mess up putting this on anyways. So, slowly. I want to put some extra lube on here, I don't care. We're going to put more lube on it. Alright. Now, grab my bolts. Okay.
I'm gonna back down the wall and I'm gonna eat first. Not eat what I eat. In the winky. Or we want more.
Alright. Now the cap is on.
What?
I'm just going to.
What did you?
Yeah, look at that, buddy. The first piston's put back in the motor. Yeah!
Yeah!
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I know you're excited too.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be on.
Don't.
Bye.
All of that's clean.
Oh.
Very clean. I'm just finger tightening these.
Oh. Why? What that? Look. When the bee.
Because I want to make sure everything is even.
Orange car?
Yeah.
Orange car when the bee and the.
Now, let's get piston number 2 finished cleaning and get it in.
Yeah!
Yeah! Okay, so I got all 4 pistons in. As of right now, they're only finger tight. As I put each piston in, I went ahead and ran it over a few times, try to get things seated. I also put some oil in the cylinder too. And the more revolutions I did, it got really quieter. So, and I put plenty of lube for the bearings. But now we're going to go ahead and start torquing the end caps for the pistons. I started doing research and I came across on carbide.
Orange car caught fire.
Yes, we know the orange car caught fire, Bubba.
Yeah. Orange car did it. Yo.
Torques, blah, 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 blah. Where's the piston or end cap?
Oh, Bill. I'm gonna need you. It caught fire, Mama. It caught fire too. Be over them in the night. Even the manana. And the manana. And the manana. Hey. And the manana. That the payment. be orange car. Yeah, my hand already.
10.
Oh, my nice. Be on it, die. My finger.
Okay. No messing around. Look at the bottom.
Oh.
Aim the camera right. Ready?
Come here.
Okay. So 55 foot-pounds. And it's not 10 millimeter. Okay, stop. So you're going to torque these to 55 foot-pounds. It's 11 millimeter. I'm just going to kind of tighten them up as one.
I'm in the park right there. Look at you.
Well, the pistons are back in. I also spun the motor over, and it looks like these caps, you can just tell which piston they go to. Lucky for me, none of them was wrong. But now the fun part, this stupid harmonic balancer or counter shaft balance, whatever the heck you want to call it. Let's get ready for that. Sorry for the bad angle, but anyway, all 4 pistons are in. Now I'm going to try to deal with this stupid counterbalance stuff. Everything's going to be 180 degrees off from what the book shows because I have the motor upside down. But to do the counterbalance, piston number 1, which is at the front of the motor, needs to be top dead center, and we'll go up top and we'll get the counterbalance assembly ready. Okay, so as I was saying previously, I'm going to do everything from the bottom, but it's going to be on top, so everything's 180 degrees off. I already have cylinder number 1 top dead center. I just got my bolts cleaned up for the housing assembly, and I'm just going to get these tightened up. Torque specs is 65 foot-pounds, so we'll do that too. I do have a digital one that I probably could use. But anyway, back to setting the counterbalance. Everything shows with the engine piston pointing all the way up. Well, here for me, it's going to be pointing towards the floor. The forum says that this line mark needs to be at 12 o'clock for the gear keyway. For me, it's going to be 6 o'clock. And since I didn't take this chain off,
knew he fucked up.
Okay, so we got our gear up here. I do have the keyway pointing straight down, pretty much 6 o'clock. And then I was able to get my gear. I had to play with the chain, get it set right. I also adjusted my tensioner here. But anyways, got the gear up on. Just tightening everything down a little bit. And I'm not going to tighten anything down yet. Well, the chain until this is tightened down. Well, that just makes everything want to move. Okay. Okay, so you need to put some feeler gauges in between here. At least try to do the best that you can in between the tensioner and the chain. It needs to be 39 thousandths. Let's try it this way. And then just tighten it up. But my website that I'm using is Carbide, and for the installation of this and to set your tensioner, it states 0.039 millimeter. So my feeler gauge is redirecting for each of them. 10 millimeter bolt. I'll just snug down a little bit, and we'll be done with this. Well, guys, chain's all tightened up. The sprocket bolt gear, whatever, is tightened up. The carrier itself is all nice and tight. And okay, so now we have the oil pickup. It's taken off. I got the cover on. I'm just starting to get these just snug for the moment. There was no gasket, no nothing. I even went through my box of gaskets just to make sure. It was just like this, so won't worry about a gasket for that. And this, I'm just going to make it wrist tight. Now we'll put the oil pickup back on. Get the bolt started. I guess the last thing I can do to end this video, just so I don't forget to do it later, I got the old crank seal out for the rear main. So we might as well just go ahead and put it in. This will be simple. Need my little dead blow. I gotta bring you so you can see. Okay, so basically all you do, the flat side goes in, you get it up over. There's a special tool, I don't have it, but pretty much all you're going to do is just go around until it's flush. There we go. Now it's in. Now the new rear main seal is in. I want to thank everybody who watches my videos. It means a lot to me and Matthew. And this build actually means quite a lot to me and Matthew. So Matthew has a big part of this, whether you actually see him on camera or hear him off camera. It's just all about the car. So, but the next video, like I said, I'm going to have the oil pan cleaned up. It's going to be painted, and then we'll get ready to throw it on, and hopefully I have the head cleaned up by then too, and then get all that reassembled. So hopefully the next video will be the motor being all put back together. And then clean the transmission up, do what I want to do with it, and then we can start on the car. Check all the wiring, get the firewall all cleaned up, start sanding it down. Surprise to new viewers or that just haven't seen that part or maybe skipped over. I am going to be painting the car, so that part there color wise is a surprise. But yeah, the motor's coming along, so good job. We're doing it. Be proud of yourself. I mean, look at this dude. Look, it's on. It's on.